I went for a date today and asked the question, "Do you have any children?" She responded with one, just under two. I said, "Yeah, thanks, but I know how to count."
I got a text saying that I won my choice of £100 cash or tickets to an Elvis Presley tribute act. It said to press 1 for the money, 2 for the show.
Patient, I'm terribly worried. I keep seeing pink-striped crocodiles every time I try to get to sleep. Doctor, have you seen a psychiatrist? Patient, no, only pink-striped crocodiles.
What was Lassie's favorite cruciferous vegetable? Cauliflower.
What song do they play at the community herb garden? The Bee Gees' Chive Talkin'.
My computer has 2 network wires, but I only connected to one. It must be Ethernet.
Patient, doctor, my hair keeps falling out. Have you got anything to keep it in? Doctor, what about a cardboard box?
Which musician was well known for throwing fruit? Chuck Berry.
How did the barber win the race? He knew a shortcut.
Your dating potential may suffer if you kinda look like an ogre. But you can make up for it if you exude Shrek's appeal.
Did you know that SpongeBob is American? Yeah, he lives in the pineapple under DC.
I've subscribed to a live feed of a field of maize growing. I love Corn Hub.
Why did the baker's hand smell? He needed a poo.
The inventor of Tic Tacs is probably wealthy. I heard he made a mint.
Wait, John Cena is hosting Shark Week? I can't really see it.
I always get excited when my wife puts on one of my NASCAR shirts. It's the raciest thing she'll wear.
What does an escalator say when it stops working? Nothing. It just stares.
When my dad was on his deathbed, he said to me, "Son, I'm leaving my company to you. Try not to do something stupid with it like you always do." Even in his final hour, he was really giving me the business.
I always get sick after being served fried garbanzo beans. They make me falafel.
My boss told me to have a good day. So I went home.
What's the difference between ignorance and apathy? I don't know and I don't care.
I once worked at a bakery as a second job. I needed the dough.
Why aren't horses allowed on city council? They always vote nay.
How much does a pirate pay for corn? A buccaneer.
Just a moment away from more dad jokes, right after this brief pause. I've got the perfect slogan for urologists. Looking out for number one.
A monk is one of the most devout Christians on earth. Second to none.
What do you call a Hispanic diabetic? Type 1.
What do dad buying milk and English football have in common? They never come home.
What did the butter say to the bread? You're my butter half.
What sounds like a sneeze and is made of leather? A shoe.
What's in the middle of a jellyfish? It's jelly button.
My favorite Disney movie is The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I love a hero with a twisted backstory.
I'll never date another tennis player again. Love meant nothing to her. What a racket.
Who won the laundry competition? No one. It was tied.
I told my friend I got his back. Now people are freaking out that I took his spinal cord.
My wife said, I can think of 14 reasons to leave you, plus your obsession with tennis. I replied, that's 15 love.
My dog ate my programming homework. Took him a couple bites.
How many stormtroopers does it take to change a light bulb? None. They are all on the dark side.
Did you hear about the bird who believed everything it was told? It was seagull-able.
Shout out to my fingers. I can count on all of them.
Why couldn't the T-Rex clap? Because it's dead.
My daughter has been a little cheeky with me lately. I told her to stop being such a wise lass.
Why have you been thinking about shallow waters so much? Like, seriously, man, it's not that deep.
I hope Sylvester Stallone's third marriage goes better. The first one was rocky, and the second one was rocky too.
New eatery in Los Angeles called Karma. There's no menu, you get what you dare serve.
Never fart in an Apple store. They have no windows.
I just farted on my wallet. Now I have gas money.
My nephew needed a job, so I told him to apply for the search and rescue team. They're always looking for someone.
There is only one thing that makes me throw up. A dartboard on the ceiling.
Why do boxers always ruin jokes? Because they know all the punchlines.
What size of shirt does a psychic wear? Medium.
Your mom's so stupid. She queued up for the punchline.
I saw a man who made his toes incredibly large. It was an impressive feat.
When I was young, I was really poor. But after years of struggle, I'm no longer young.
What do you call when a chicken is standing in front of a lettuce? A chicken sees a salad.
I'm so poor. I can't even pay attention.
I miss my job at the outdoor store. I can't get past tense.
I know a great one about giant squid. But it's not the time for cracking jokes.
The teacher asked me why my friend Fortune only wrote in caps. What can I say? Fortune favors the bold.
Went to the aquarium. It was more lively than the sushi place.
My Asian wife can't sleep because I snore, so she puts on a fan for white noise. I look in the mirror just to make sure I'm still white.
When is it time to stop telling dad jokes? When all your kids are grown up.
Spiders are the worst web developers on the planet. They got too many bugs in there.
It's not a good idea to explain how to use a torque wrench on YouTube. It won't work because the camera adds 10 pounds.
The Weather Channel has been giving excessive heat warnings every 2 hours. But I don't think every 2 hours is that excessive.
Went to the Doritos farm. It's got a really cool ranch.
What did the cake say to the candles? This is lit.
Most people don't know Snoop Dogg's brother is involved in sailboat racing. The folks around the marina know him as Sloop Dogg.
This man was about to throw dough, cheese, and tomatoes at me. I said, "You want a pizza, me?"
CrowdStrike already found out why things went wrong last week. The IT teams disappeared. They ransomware for phishing.
Why did the baker have brown fingers? Because he needed a poo.
How does a cat pay you? With a per diem.
My wife got mad at me for putting concrete mix in her coffee. Well, at least the rules are cemented now.
My son said he wanted to be a reporter, but I told him he's too young, he's only a preteen. He said that's no problem because he has the news at 12.
How do you think the unthinkable? With an iceberg.
What do you call a babysitter who's good at putting kids to sleep? A kidnapper.
I hope you'll check out my new video on werewolves. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
My friend is obsessed with taking blurry pictures of himself while taking a shower. He has serious self-esteem issue.
To whoever stole my highlighter pen, I will find you. Mark my words.
Why don't vampires go to therapy? Because they can't reflect on themselves.
I love shoplifting kitchen utensils. I know that I could get in trouble for it. But that's a risk I'm willing to take.
My ripe corn, beans, and tomatoes watched an old movie last night and decided to move to the neighbor's garden. It was Mutiny on the Bounty.
Why didn't the Union soldiers celebrate the end of the Civil War? They didn't like the Confederate rates.
I asked Line to stand up at an angle. He said he wasn't so inclined.
A bird with red feathers went into a busy delicatessen and took a number. Why did his turn never come? Because when he took a number, it became a cardinal number.
Why did the punk rocker cross the road? He was stapled to the chicken.
What do you call a dog with no legs? You don't call him anything. He couldn't come if you called him anyway.
How did the fortune teller know that she was going to need stitches? It was a foreseeable suture.
Twitter has gone through a major restructuring. Everyone is now ex-employees.
My buddy and I were arguing about whose hobby was better. It was a conflict of interests.
Why don't owls mate if it's raining? Too wet to woo.
How do you know if a dad joke is fresh? It never grows mold.
I had to break up with my Taiwanese girlfriend because she was too bossy. She had a very strong Taipei personality.
How do you tell if a fish is getting impatient? He's about haddock.
I brought a salad to a party. Unfortunately, it gave everyone food poisoning. I got sued. I needed 7 legal experts to defend myself in court. It was a 7-lawyer salad.
So I finally taught my grandma what email was. It changed her whole outlook on life.
Why did the poor guy become a baker? 'Cause he needed the dough.
What did Archie Bunker get for his birthday? He got his cake and Edith too.
Why did the baker fire his apprentice? Because he was taking too many whisks.
What's black and white and goes around and around? A penguin in a revolving door.
Did you hear about the circus fire? It was intense.
I slept with a pineapple once. It was a prickly experience.
My wife has a tendency to kill every houseplant we get. I told her when it comes to plant care she has the Midas touch, as in Midas will not bother.
When I was a little kid, I hated video games. But then my older brother bought a Nintendo NES. He had me take the old cartridges out and put different games in that he wanted to play. It was a real game-changing moment for me.
Egyptians won't believe me when I tell them there are crocodiles in Egypt. I think they're just all in denial.
What is a pirate's favorite letter? Most people think it is arg, but it's not, it's the C.
I felt uncomfortable driving into the cemetery. The GPS said I'd reached my final destination.
I met my future wife at a castanets lessons club. We just clicked.
The parade of athletes in the Olympic opening ceremony are riding boats on the river in Paris. That is totally insane.
My friend saw a film last night about a male cow that terrorized a village and went on a killing spree. He loved it. But to me it sounded like a horror bull movie.
My local zoo rehomed their pandas. The upkeep became unbearable.
What did Delaware to the party? A New Jersey.
My GPS briefly turned Italian today. It said, at the next intersection, make a U-turn.
If I'm ever abducted by aliens, I hope they don't probe me. You don't get a second chance to make a first impression, and I don't want to start things off going into my crap.
Why does Snoop Dogg always carry around an umbrella with him wherever he goes? F.O. Drizzle.
What did the PETA say when it called out from work? I'm not coming in today, I falafel. I'll see myself out.
A group of Boy Scouts cleaned up my yard for a service project. Their effort was patchy.
Why does 60s music sound the best on vinyl? 'Cause it's so groovy, man.
My uncle who sells upper body prosthetics was sentenced to several years in jail. They accuse him of being an arms dealer.
I can't stand when people cough near me in an airport. I don't want to contract a terminal illness.
I'm trying to find a place where I'm considered tall. You know, somewhere I belong.
I have bad luck dating women. I'm usually off by at least 10 years.
What do you call a lawyer who can cook? A sous chef.
My wife is embarrassed to drive with me to the beach. Because I have an Audi.
We'll resume the fun and laughs right after this message. Two men walked into a bar. The third one ducked.
My best dad jokes happen when I'm drunk. That's when I enjoy the booze.
I ordered a chicken and an egg online. I'll let you know.
I connected my wife with an Italian entomologist. When she asked for romance.
The gaudy woman really surprised the cannibal. There's no accounting for taste.
Two continents argued over a series of recent earthquakes. Each claimed it wasn't their fault.
I had a prostate examination at the doctor's this morning. He gave me the thumbs up.
I was going to transition from dad jokes to juggling. But my juggling career is up in the air right now.
What do you call a ghost reindeer? A scaraboo.
Have you ever heard of diamond burglars who they themselves are diamonds as well? They're a group of hardened criminals.
Tomato joke. Two tomatoes were running in the 100m race at Paris Olympics. What did one tomato say to other? Run faster, you need to catch up.
I had a very awkward conversation with the tall man at the circus. It was stilted.
Accidentally took my cat's medication. Don't ask me how.
What's the cheapest cut of meat? Deer balls, they're under $1.
A professional limbo player walks into a bar. She lost.
What did the nose tell the finger? Stop picking on me.
I tried to buy a Holstein from a dairy farmer using credit. No deal. He said it's a cash cow.
My archenemy is plantar fasciitis.
My dad used to wash the car with me. I was glad when he finally got a sponge.
Where did Captain Hook get his hook? The second-hand store.
If 4 out of 5 suffers from radiation poisoning, does that mean the 5th guy enjoys it?
Have you heard of the insane madman that takes doors off their frame for no good reason? Yeah, he's completely unhinged.
The police gave me some logs and a lighter. I lit the logs on fire and the police walked away. I ran up with a flaming log in hand and I got a ticket for running a red light. The police said I didn't have to put on the red light.
I accidentally drank a Molotov cocktail. This really lit a fire in my belly to learn more about Russian improvised weapons.
Did you hear about the guy who found a more efficient way to set up the high jump? He has really raised the bar.
The guy who invented tiramisu just died. Everyone at the funeral will be in tears.
Did you know that when someone dies, their eyes are the last thing to stop moving? They dilate.
I went on Amazon to buy a lighter, but all they had were 3,472 matches.
Olympic swimmers should not be going into the river. If they did, they would be insane.
Why are flamenco dancers also good at fishing? They can cast a net.
Why was LeBron James bad at logic? Because he kept jumping to conclusions.
My boss said to me, "You're the worst train driver ever. How many times have you derailed this year?" I replied, "I'm not sure, it's hard to keep track."
My boss told me to have a good day. So I went home.
My dad's a nurse at the hospital. He hoists patients up for their lumbar puncture. I guess you could say he's a lumberjack.
I took a picture of 4 groups of crows and hung it on my friend's wall. He was raving and said, "You framed me for murder."
Why were all musicians, prior to the release of Lucky Star's self-obsessed divas? Because they were all prima donnas.
A peanut and a knot walks in a tough neighborhood. One was afraid because the other one got assaulted.
At first my health insurance company wasn't going to pay for my colonoscopy. But I finally got it in the end.
Did you all hear about acupuncturist who used dry pasta? He was especially talented with ramen needles.
I got mugged by a guy with a starter pistol. Another case of race-related violence.
I told my wife, "So what if I spent 3 pounds on a bulletproof jacket?" "Shoot me."
My dad would always say, "Who was your servant last year?" And he laughed when I said, "You were. And the year before that. And the year before that. In fact, as long as I can remember. R.I.P. Dad."
Adam made a man cave after he lost Eden.
My wife gets mad over my bread puns. Why is she sourdough?
I saw a blonde woman with one arm shopping at a second-hand store. I don't think she's gonna find what she's looking for.
Why is baseball better than food poisoning? Because in baseball you want to get the runs.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how obsessed with Harry Potter are you? About 9 3/4.
How do vegetarians bless meals before they eat? Let us pray.
How do hillbillies freshen their breath? With varmints.
I think Renaissance and Scarborough are both equally tough to spell. If I'm making a fair comparison.
I heard the anime convention building inadvertently burned to the ground. Fortunately, everyone there made it out in one piece.
What did the costume dresser say when she read Mel Gibson's name on the tag on a pair of tidy whities? It's Mel's.
Did you hear they arrested the Energizer Bunny? He was charged with battery.
Why was the null hypothesis lonely? Because it was rejected.
What do a small river and Endora have in common? They tend to creak a lot.
Why was the lighting upset leaving court? It was charged.
What can't a can do? Canned cantaloupe.
What's a vampire's favorite Olympic sport? Countathlon.
Why is Hamilton bad at archery? He threw away his shot.
What do you call a group of whales in a band? An orchestra.
What was a rejected phrase before Release the Kraken? Let's get crackin'.
Why did the god of thunder need to stretch his leg muscles? He was a little Thor.
A man was angry at a void. When someone asked him why he was angry, he replied, "It's nothing."
Why did the spider get arrested? He was convicted of reckless driving.
A veterinarian was performing surgery on a stoned cow. It was a high-stakes operation.
I asked my bike to tell me a joke. It said, "Oh, give me a break."
I couldn't remember the other word for slide quickie enough to win the game show. Shoot.
I hear a lot of talk about presidential candidates and running mates. I feel they are forgetting there's a great source for running mates happening currently. There will be a lot of Olympic runners available in a few weeks.
Why do cats not like to play with dogs? Because they're rough.
Why shouldn't you throw chemicals at couples? Because you don't want to get a toxic relationship.
My dad's answer to everything is alcohol. He doesn't drink, he's just really bad at puzzles.
I'm in a state of shock that someone would break into my house and steal all of my fruit. I'm totally peachless.
What kind of jacket does a dinosaur wear in the winter? Jurassic Parka.
I don't think I can take my dog to the pond anymore. The ducks just keep attacking him. I guess that's just the way it is for purebreds.
When government officials finally start tracking female menstrual activity, if they put it on a chart, does that make it a periodic table?
I told an offensive joke to a rabbit. He said that's not bunny.
When you die, people cry and beg for you to come back. But when you do, they freak out.
Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything.
I was going to brush my dog, but then she needed to go outside first. I had to give her a temporary deferment.
You want to paint spades, diamonds, clubs, and hearts all over your chest? It's a strange choice, but suit yourself.
What did Zero say to number 8? That belt looks good on you.
Why did the house with no style need dentures? It had no motif.
Who is the highest ranking officer at your local U-Haul? Major Hassel.
You know what little Elon Musk said to Mom when he was a kid playing in his Power Wheels? Look, Ma. No gas.
You know what's gross? 12 dozen.
How does a penguin build its house? Igloos it together.
Did you hear about the lawyer that went to culinary school? He's now a sous chef.
I went to buy some camouflage pants, but I couldn't find any.
What do you call a blunt rotation at a funeral? A wake and bake.
So are all the various places they are holding the Olympic Games technically parasites?
When it comes to tennis puns, Nadal are created equal.
I wanted to play organ in the jazz band. They told me to hit the roads.
Did you know pool cleaners don't require any training? They just dive right in.
What do you call a criminal that can't see? Illegally blind.
A man came into my bookshop. He asked me if we sold protein shakes, so I said to him, there's absolutely no way.
How do you cut off someone's arm in wood shop? With the radio, arm saw.
Want to hear a joke? A joke.
What do you call an unexpected award from a gentleman? A surprise.
What do you call a group of crows at a disco? A murder on the dance floor.
The IT guys in our office have been missing for the last few days. They probably ransomware.
Found any amazing deal on a used car on Marketplace, but ultimately decided not to buy. Ad said price to sell, won't last long, but I was hoping to get at least a few years out of it.
You should learn an ancient language, like don't eat pig Latin. Or, as some people call it, Arabic.
I found a nice button-up sweater at the mall, but my Visa got declined when the teller rang me up. I had to give him my card again.
I like to steal single-roll toilet paper packages. And I always get off scot-free.
I was going to make a joke about furniture, but I'm just going to table it for now.
My kids told me they saw a hollow-horned mammal when they went to the petting zoo. I said, "You've got to be kidding me."
I always wanted to join a group of other men to rhythmically intone religious texts. I'm afraid I'm too old now, though. Guess I missed my chance.
What can you sit on, stand on, and brush your teeth with? A chair, a ladder, and a toothbrush.
What's big, red, and eats rocks? A big red rock eater.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Rumor has it there is a TMNT reboot coming to Netflix, but recast name of the movie is Teenage Mutant Tai Chi Sloths.
Why do Italian men grow mustaches? So they can look like their mother.
I went to see an Asian Coldplay cover band. And they were all yellow.
What do you call a tea from England? British.
What do you call a snowman with a six-pack? An abdominal snowman.
A friend of mine couldn't believe he won the lottery. He asked me, what are the odds? I said 1, 3, 5, 7, 9.
Today I saw a beehive with no exit. Unbelievable.
Why can't shepherds keep their jobs more than a week? Because they can't resist falling asleep when they count the sheeps.
How do you get a farm girl to marry you? A tractor.
I told my wife that I have urges to leave baby goats in random people's yards. She told me not to be kidding around like that.
My ex left me for a roofer. And now I have trust issues.
A friend of mine got attacked by birds at the beach. I always said he was too gullible.
Why did the Chinese chef's feet hurt? He had to walk to work.
I was asked if my international company would happen to require the services of a translator. I said it depends how later.
If a midget brought her kids to a nude beach, would that be the bare minimum?
What do you call a bear with no shoes? Barefoot. Get ready for more laughs and groans following this short break.
I reckon I could have won gold at the Youth Olympics. If it wasn't for all those meddling kids.
Seagulls fly over the sea. Because if they flew over the bay, they would be bagels.
So apparently ISIS sponsored Garbage Day. The street has always been Laden.
Orcas are actually dolphins, but they do a killer whale impersonation.
I've just written my autobiography, but I can't get it published. It seems that nobody's interested. That's the story of my life.
I just had an interview for a job at a school. It went well, but I'm not yet ready to discuss terms.
What do call a regal Chinese security guard? Sir Ching.
Did you hear about Apple's new wearable for pirates? It's the eye patch.
"16 2/3, 33 1/3, 45 and 78. A quick memory should recall the significance of these numbers in record speed.
I just had my first ever date last night. Tonight, I'd have my first ever papaya.
I rubbed ketchup in my eyes the other day. In hindsight, maybe that wasn't the best idea.
I told my wife she was drawing her eyebrows too high. She looked surprised.
What's a machine that attracts called? A tractor.
Bruce Cockburn hates playing pickleball in a high school gym. He spends too much time wondering where the lines are.
I wanted to become a professional gardener. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to the root of the problem.
How does Moses drink the coffee? He brews it. How does Jesus react after drinking Moses' coffee? Jeez hot.
What do they call the currency in Kazakhstan? The Almaty dollar.
Who painted my fish scarlet? Now it is a red herring.
Did anyone else hear anything? The ice cream man they found dead? Apparently he was found covered in hundreds and thousands. Police say he must have topped himself.
Topo Chico is discontinuing their sparkling water products. Turns out the old man who used to fart in the water has passed away.
Did you hear about the Japanese man who gave his pigeon marijuana? He heard a haiku.
My teacher accused me of stealing her thesaurus. I said that's preposterous.
My wife asked for some peace and quiet while she cooked dinner. So I took the batteries out of the smoke alarms.
What did the frog order at the barbecue restaurant? Riblets.
A crime was committed at a naval base, so they had to search for the suspect. All they found was lint.
What did the architect use to build Arkham? Psychoschematics.
If you are what you eat, how comes I still don't look like a snack?
Give a man a hamburger and he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to hamburger and he'll be fed 3 times per day at the institution.
Why do people think Beatles are the best band? Didn't they fire him in 1962?
I've just deleted all the German names from my cell phone. It's now Hans free.
What do you call a country singer with IBS? Dolly Parton.
What do you give a dog with a fever? Mustard. It's the best thing for a hot dog.
Which end of a pool is the safest for diving? It depends on the pool.
Why did Phil Donahue open a bakery? To make sure every topic got its just desserts.
A former Laker MVP went to a popular fast food chain and was surprised by their Mediterranean egg dish. Shake Shack's shakshuka has shakshook.
I'm really enjoying my job as a police officer. I don't really have much to do. No complaints.
Leather is rated based on its texture. Cows with abundant water sources typically have soft hides, rated A. But hides from cows living in hot, dry climates are typically D-rated.
Did you hear about the guy that ran into a window? He was in a lot of pain.
What was George Washington's presidential campaign slogan? Make America.
What's orange and sounds like a parrot? A carrot.
What do you call dolls lining up beside the grill? A barbecue.
A couple of cups of yogurt walk into a country club. The bartender looks at them and says, "Hey, we don't serve your kind here." "Why not?" one yogurt asks. "We're cultured."
Why did the secret agent bring a ladder? Because the mission was top secret.
Who do you call when a fish needs an operation? You call the sturgeon.
Which day of the week has the most depressing poops? Sad Turd Day.
I was going to go vegan until I realized it would be a big mistake.
This old ladder of mine keeps tipping over. I can't stand it anymore.
I keep making partial payments to my mortgage company, and the suspense is killing me.
Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. But then he got fired for just standing around.
How do you embrace an archaeologist? Hand him a used tampon and ask him which period is it from.
My wife wears a size 10 shoe, but she's trying to squeeze into a pair of size 7. No small feet.
I have great news. I've been cast as the next Incredible Hulk. It's gonna be a banner year.
What is Soda's favorite dance? Can.
Relationship joke. This girl wants to go out with me. I said I really don't want to. She said, "Why not?" I said relationships are like chunky people. She said, "Chunky people what?" I said, listen, they usually don't work out.
I've made my first new dish of many. It's a template.
A bat is your best defense against mosquitoes. A single brown bat can eat up to 1,200 of them in an hour.
They say never go grocery shopping when you're hungry. It's been a week and I just keep getting hungrier.
My local zoo just obtained a 2-foot snake. It doesn't sound impressive, but snakes don't normally have any feet.
I like telling your mama jokes. Sometimes she laughs.
All I do is crash cans all day. It's so depressing.
I had a somber discussion with my doctor about a possible cardiac transplant. It was a serious heart-to-heart.
Did you know Donald Trump wrote 19 books in his career? Well, 20 if you count Mein Kampf.
What do you call reggae when it's played without arms? Leggae.
I've just released my own fragrance. But nobody in my car seemed to like it.
Of all the drawing surfaces, my favorite has to be dry erase boards. They're remarkable.
How was the handsome runner described? Dashing.
Somewhere along the line, Dawn dish soap won the war against dishpan hands. So there will be no dystopian future.
I have a friend that's trying to get me into trail running. He says it's amazing and it's like a drug to him. Good thing I don't do drugs.
My father, the pilot, is unable to hit ground balls. Because it seems, pop flies.
Why can't people from Pakistan play soccer? Because if they get a corner, they'll build a shop on it.
On the third day, the stone was rolled away and the tomb was empty. What most people don't know is that it was also completely dust-free and tidy. Jesus swept.
If you don't have enough utensils to attack the food on your plate, you need reinforcements.
I can't remember how to write 1,000, 51, 6 and 500 in Roman numerals. I am livid.
I'm writing a book about glue, but I'm stuck on the first chapter.
After my girlfriend poked me in the eye, I stopped seeing her.
Someone asked me to name 2 structures that hold water. I was like, well, damn.
What did the tomato say to his friends when he was running late? Don't worry, I will catch up.
A blind guy walks into a bar, and then a table, and then a chair.
Did you hear about the melons who weren't allowed to live together? They were told that they cantaloupe.
My wife just left me for my obsession over cricket. I have to say it hit me for 6.
I was trying to make small talk with a horse by asking it its favorite food. All it kept doing was greet me.
What has 4 legs but cannot walk? Half a spider.
I married way too young. That's her name, she's Chinese.
I used to never understand why people dislike cleaning windows, but now I understand. They're just a pain.
I've suddenly developed a fear of trees. They just seem so shady.
Scientists have learned that when a human being dies, their pupils are the last things to remain living. They dilate.
What did the almond croissant say to the regular croissant when they met in the jungle? Me marzipan, you plain.
I asked my dad why he would always stamp his insignia on people when he initially met them. He told me, "You always want to make a good first impression."
I love listening to the Red Hot Chili Peppers. But my ears are burning like heck and my gardener thinks I'm crazy.
Don't try eating aluminum like I did. You'll end up having to sheet metal.
What do you call the ambassador of the Netherlands to Luxembourg? The Grand Duchy of Luxembourg.
What do hotel housekeepers and accountants have in common? They spread sheets.
What do Alexander the Great and Winnie the Pooh have in common? Their middle name is the.
Two volcanoes were bickering about the weather. It was quite a heated discussion.
What do you call edible software and code? Programmer cracker.
What do you call a Halloween party where most of the couples are dressed as Donald Trump and Kamala Harris? A political party.
Why did the Buddhist coroner get fired? Because he always recorded the cause of death as birth.
Apparently, the government is planning to add an hour into the morning. Not on my watch.
What did the farmer say to his secret lover when she said, "Let's run away"? I cantaloupe.
How many hours does it take to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu? A Brazilian.
I just saw a Mexican Star Wars movie. It's called Rogue One. I'm Bob Jeffy.
And I'm Montgomery Jones.
We're on a mission to spread the laughs and groans far and wide, so please do us a favor and share just one of these jokes with your family and friends today. Thanks.
Looking for the gift for Dad? We have the official Daily Dad Jokes Podcast electronic joke button now available on Amazon. A massive 500 preloaded dad jokes guaranteed to make you laugh and groan. Check the show notes page for the link. The Daily Dad Jokes Podcast is produced by Classic Studios. See the show notes page for social media links and joke credits. This show was recorded in front of a canned studio audience.